They thought they had power over her. They thought a uniform defined obedience. But when the order came, "Take off your uniform," she didn't panic. She smirked. Because the room didn't realize one thing yet, they weren't humiliating a woman. They had just issued a command to a Navy SEAL who never loses. And what happened next would change every life in that room forever. The room was silent except for the low hum of fluorescent lights and the distant echo of boots marching outside. She stood alone in the center, shoulders straight, chin lifted, eyes calm. Her name was Lieutenant Mara Hayes, age 29, and the uniform on her body carried years of sacrifice stitched into every seam. The officers across the table didn't see that. They saw a problem. Mara had been reassigned to a joint training program, one known for breaking people before building them back up. From the moment she arrived, whispers followed her. Too confident, too quiet, too composed, and worst of all, a woman who didn't flinch. The senior officer leaned forward, voice sharp, calculated. "You think you're special?" he asked. She didn't answer. "You think that uniform gives you protection?" Then came the words that froze the room. "Take off your uniform." A test. A power play. An attempt to strip authority, dignity, identity. Some recruits looked away, others waited for her to break. But Mara didn't move. Instead, she smiled. Not arrogance. Not fear, understanding. Slowly, she met the officer's eyes. Her voice was steady, almost calm enough to be dangerous. "You just ordered a Navy SEAL to strip," she said, "and you should be very sure you understand what that means." The room shifted. Because confidence like that doesn't come from ego. It comes from experience. Years earlier, Mara had survived Hell Week, underwater drills with failing oxygen, missions that never made the news, and decisions that saved lives while costing pieces of her own soul. She had learned that true strength wasn't loud. It was controlled. The officer scoffed. "You think that title scares me?" Mara finally moved, not to remove her uniform, but to straighten it. "This uniform isn't cloth," she said. "It's earned." And just then, the door behind her opened. The commanding officer entered without announcement, older, sharper, eyes that had seen war and survived it. Everyone stood. His gaze landed on Mara, then on the officer who had issued the order. "What's going on here?" he asked quietly. Before anyone could answer, Mara spoke, not defensively, not emotionally, but truthfully. "Sir, I was instructed to remove my uniform." The room went cold. The commanding officer turned slowly. "Who gave that order?" Silence. Finally, the senior officer stepped forward. "I did." "This program tests limits." The commander nodded once. "Yes, it does." Then he looked back at Mara. "Lieutenant Hayes, do you know why we wear uniforms?" "Yes, sir." "Tell them." Mara turned to the room. Her voice carried something deeper now. Not defiance, but meaning. "We wear it to remind ourselves who we serve. Not our egos, not our fears, each other. The uniform doesn't make us strong. It shows we survived becoming strong." She paused. "And anyone who thinks humiliation builds warriors has never been one." The commander exhaled slowly. Then came the words no one expected. "Lieutenant, you're promoted to lead instructor for this cycle." Shock rippled through the room. The officer who tried to break her couldn't meet her eyes. As the recruits watched, something changed. Not just about Mara, but about what strength looked like. It wasn't screaming orders. It wasn't dominance, it was restraint, integrity. Unshakable self-respect. Later that night, Mara stood alone outside, desert wind brushing against her uniform. She thought about how close she'd come to being reduced to nothing, and how standing firm turned that moment into something powerful. Because sometimes, the world will try to strip you of who you are, and the strongest response isn't anger, it's knowing. They can't take what you earned. Respect isn't demanded, it's demonstrated. And no matter where you stand in life, if you know your worth, no one can order you to remove it.